Hello, this is the M1 motorway, and it was one of the first motorways to open in 1959. Over the years it's seen many extensions and add-ons, turning the M1 into the motorway that we know and love today. But as we've seen many times before, road building projects don't always go to plan, and today I thought we'd take a look at some of the motorway service stations that never made it further than the drawing board, and hopefully we'll find some visual clues hinting towards these incomplete structures. In the early days of motorway building and planning, they decided that motorway service stations were to be placed roughly 15 miles apart from one another, as presumably this is the distance your British Motor Corporation vehicle could handle before needing to be entirely replaced. In any case, this meant that service stations were factored into the motorway's construction, with predetermined sites set out to eventually be turned into a service station. However, it was up to private companies to fund and build the service stations, not the road construction people, so whilst they factored in the service stations, it didn't always guarantee that one would be built. Either way, road planners settled on no less than 9 sites or service stations for the M1. 6 of these were built as per the plan, but there are 3 service stations that no one got round to building. Starting with Lutterworth services, found between junctions 19 and 20, sitting nicely between Northampton and Leicester Forest East services. It's an interesting site because they built all of the supporting infrastructure for a service station. There are some nice long slip roads and connecting roads to the local network, allowing access for staff, all of which never saw use as intended, because when it came down to it, it was decided that the site was not suitable for a service station after all. A report suggested that the slip roads were too long. I don't know why that's an issue, and it was suggested that the site was too close to the existing junction 20, as well as being too small to build anything of merit. And that was that. No service station, despite building the infrastructure for it. But in the early 1980s, the idea was revisited. Maybe we could have a service station at Lutterworth after all. But no, because reasons, it didn't work out, and an attempt was made to sell the land in the 1990s. I don't know how land sales work within government departments, but around that time it was decided to develop the site into a highway maintenance depot, which is still in place today. If you're ever driving up this way on the M1, you'll notice the slip roads that are signed as Works Unit Only. Of course, these were supposed to be the access to a service station, but it was never built. Our next service station that isn't a service station is known as Long Whatton, and it's between junctions 23 and 24. As we head up there, we'll pass by Markfield services, a now abandoned service station at junction 22. It doesn't count as a motorway services, but if you like that sort of thing, here's a handy video. Long Whatton services, or at least the site of it, is spotted easily by the 4 go slip roads that were built in preparation for said service station. Unlike Lutterworth, there isn't any additional infrastructure installed here, it's just the go slip roads, and perhaps just as well, because anything more would have been a waste of money. The site was fiercely objected to by local residents and certain governmental departments, such as the Ministry of Agriculture. I can only assume a service station would have ruined the land next to the massive motorway and across the road from an airport, but in any case, no one bothered with building anything at Long Whatton. And that's how things will stay. Well, never say never, but I can't imagine anybody wanting to build a service station at Long Whatton, because in the 1990s, service station giant Granada were looking around this area to build a service station, deciding that a location a short distance to the north was better. This led to the construction of Donington Park services, and now there's not really any point in having a services at Long Whatton. Our third and final unbuilt service station takes us further north along the M1 to a site known as Chapeltown services. It would have sat between junctions 35 and 36, which is to the north of Sheffield. There isn't much to see at Chapeltown, but the giveaway that something is missing is a pair of go slip roads that would have been your access to the service station. Of course, 2 slip roads like this make no sense, but at the time of the motorway's construction, they built a full set of 4 like those at Long Whatton. After the motorway opened, no one came forward to build a service station at Chapeltown because, well, they couldn't be bothered. No one thought that there was that much money to be made, so the 4 slip roads just sat there not being used. So where did 2 of them go? They were repurposed in the 1980s when junction 35A was constructed, and they now make up part of the slip roads found at the junction, so at least half of the slip roads got used in the end. The other pair shall sit here doing nothing, because with the junction's construction there's no space for a service station even if you wanted to build it. And there we are, 3 service stations that were never built, all with a variety of remaining infrastructure waiting to be spotted as you make a journey along the M1 motorway. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.